Start with BHP Billiton, copper hitting an all-time high today on the metals exchange.
Yeah, you know, Dr. Copper is supposed to be the guy that tells you what the condition is of the global economy, because historically it was all about US construction and so on. Then Dr. Copper moved his operations to China because it was all about power stations and so on and so forth. Massive price run up in 06, 07. Everybody was feeling fantastic about that. Big crash, of course, though, in 08, 09. But interesting to see that, you know, pointing now to all-time highs. So, you know, it's reflected in Billiton. Of course, Billiton has been higher. It was at 325 Rand a share back in 2008, and it's now kind of 270. Our market, of course, if it's going to go to its all-time highs, needs the big alpha stock, the biggest in our market, to take us to the top.
And of course, you believe we are going to the top there.
So 300 by Christmas is probably a bit of a stretch.
Looking at those
maybe next Christmas.
We may get some positive momentum given the news flow out of the US today, and that is that the initial jobless claims were lower than expected, and of course that is moving in the right direction from an employment perspective. So it begs the question, do we believe the non-farm payroll number that was so disappointing last week?
We've been having this fight for a couple of days now. I was saying I thought that non-farm payrolls number from last week, Friday, was a bit of a bum read. In other words, it was understated for one reason or another. There is some variability, and you'll remember that every time they bring those out, they talk about revisions to the prior numbers, and we've seen on some occasions revisions which are even, you know, more significant than the number was in terms of it being positive or negative. So, I mean, my own sense of where the US is, but understand that talking to the most bullish guy in town, is
I think everybody's aware that of your Pollyanna views, and I've got to come back to that.
That number was disappointing, but probably was inconsistent with other economic reads we were getting. So I'm encouraged by this non-farm, jobless claims, weekly claims number being low.
Just chatting to Anthony Clark, Clover priced at R10.50, coming to the board on Tuesday. Is this something to get excited about in your book?
Well, we only had one client who went for them, and he was a director there, so that tells you something.
Is we supposed to read between the lines there?
Yeah, he works there, so I don't know. I mean, for me, new listings are always fun and exciting. Often it's a reflection of the fact that the market is receptive and the insiders are selling in these situations. This is a capital raising as well. I mean, it looks well positioned, and there's a lot of corporate activity, as Anthony was relating there, in the sector with Pioneer, KWV, you know, the Cape Mafia, all kind of...
Well, let's talk about this KWV very quickly before the end of the show. A rival bidder.
I've never heard of these people. It's a British alcohol or booze company of some description. KWV, I don't even understand. I don't like wine personally, so I'm not a big follower of the sector. But, you know, it's the export agency and the relationships globally in terms of South African wine export. That's KWV's core business. So
is Pioneer going to want to let this one go, or are we going to see it being forced to pay more? 828 million Rand on the table at the moment.
Yeah, and look, I mean, as Anthony's saying, there's some whole lot of insider relations here, because PSG is both significant in Pioneer and in KWV. But I don't know, at the end of the day, what's great about these transactions is if a rival bidder comes, the board is obliged to give it, you know, adequate attention, because it's all about the price.